Hello. This video is as always, an addendum to go along with your full reading and understanding of this high stakes assignment, our final high stakes assignment, the reflective portfolio. So if you haven't read through the prompt in detail yet, if you haven't gone over the rubric yet, please stop and do that. And come back and watch this video after you've read through it once. I'm not going to go over all of the details. Of course, in a larger assignment like this, there are many. I'm going to hit the highlights and sort of explain some of perhaps the more confounding aspects of this assignment. In other words, watching this video does not stand in for reading and understanding the prompt. So this assignment is universal in all Writing 122 classes, which means that every Writing 122 class finishes, every section at Western University finishes with this. It's 20% of our final grade. That's 200 points in our class. It's worth just as much as the Discourse Community Report. I think students look at the 800 to 1,000 word count and think this is a lower stakes assignment. It's not. This is, as far as points go, this is one of the most highest stakes assignments that we'll do all term. Okay, so elsewhere in this module, this week's module, we have talked about why we're reflecting, how to reflect, why we're doing it. We know that reflecting on one's learning during and after the process of that learning is central to growth as a writer, as a critical thinker, and as a learner. We would argue even more generally. So for our final, you are asked to assemble a portfolio. If you don't know what a portfolio means, it just means it's a folder, so to speak. It's a collection of multiple works. In this portfolio, there's two main parts. We're writing a reflective essay. We're writing a new piece of writing. And secondly, we are selecting works that we've already done, selecting and collecting works that we've already done. So let's start with the reflective essay. This is the only new piece of writing that will appear in your portfolio. We're looking for an essay that's about 800 to 1,000 words in length, and it addresses this prompt. Basically, what have you learned about how writing and/or rhetoric function in real-world situations and communities? There are, as you can see, there are several prompts, and what shouldn't be surprising to you is that they all correspond with the official learning outcomes of this course that we've been talking about since, I don't know, week 2, 3, 4. So in answering, this prompt, of course, we think you will need to respond to the following prompts. All of these questions are, we can call them heuristics. They're designed to prompt you to make claims about what you've learned in this course, and of course they correspond with the learning outcomes of this course. I think we could use these as a very helpful pre-writing brainstorming exercise. What we'll come up with is a reflective letter that creates a narrative with a central claim or thesis that links your writing samples together. Narrative just means, one idea after another. It means things are connected. They are your evidence, right? Your writing is your evidence for you to make claims about your own learning outcomes. You're making claims about what you learned. How do you support that? Well, you support it with your own writing in this instance. It's really important here, just as you used in-text citations, just as you cited your sources in works previous to this assignment, you're doing the exact same thing here. You should refer specifically to your work and provide a page number citation in your text. Another option is to add hyperlinks. We might see some student samples of what it looks to add hyperlinks. What's important here is that you can make a claim and say and specifically perhaps summarize, let's say, some peer review. You've included it in the end. Just as with regular in-text citations, your reader wants to be able to take that claim, take that evidence you've provided, and cross-reference it. I want to be able to go and say, okay, I want to see where this quote came from in its larger context. So in-text citation, it works exactly the same. We need to be very rigorous, even if we're just citing our own previous writing here. Secondly, talking about learning doesn't mean claiming that you learned everything and that you are an expert. It's okay, and in fact, it won't hurt your grade in any way to discuss areas of weakness, areas where you need improvement, or goals that you have for further growth. Right, the first part of the prompt, what you learned, that's where you can tell me what you know and what you believe that you know now that you've finished the course. It lets you tell me about where you are now. The goal is not to tell me what you think I want to hear, or to repeat what you think I want you to think. The goal here is true reflection, and we'll see in a moment, that's the only criteria: how well we reflect, how well we support our claims, on which we're being graded. So if you were unable to achieve some of these learning outcomes, if you're not really sure how you met a specific learning outcome, be honest here. You're not going to get dinged for it. The goal and the criteria of grading are set up such that we want you to know where you're at. Honestly, what you know and what you don't know are crucial to this assignment. So we already know that we're going to be including previous writing. This assignment asks that we collect for our portfolio about 5 to 7 artifacts. And it can be anything we've written in this class: finished essays, drafts, peer review, free writes, discussion boards. Any writing at all counts. It's important formatting is important for this assignment. Since we have these two parts, it should go this way. 1, the essay, the 800 to 1,000 new words that we've written. Secondly, the portfolio. We should give each of your artifact a descriptive title. So for instance, if you say in revision plan for the ETC argument, if you reference that in your essay, the artifact itself should be titled similarly, revision plan for ETC argument. That's how we as readers can cross-reference them. And begin each artifact on a new page so it's not super sloppy. And we want to number our pages continuously so that we have, one long document that's 37 pages or whatever. This is all about ease of reference. We don't want more than one page 6, so that when you say in your essay, see page 6, the reader's unclear what page. So essay first, then artifacts, each of which has a clear, distinctive title that we can identify it by. Each artifact starts on a new page, so it's not super confusing, and pages are numbered continuously, so when we say page 18, we know there's only one page 18. Okay, finally, a point I want to make. This is crucial. I'm going to say it once, and I'm probably still gonna field questions about it. The only thing that's being graded is the reflective essay. In other words, I've already graded I will have already graded all of the other assignments that you've done this term. I'm not grading them again. That means if you want to show, for instance, how you've improved, how your mastery of conventions of grammar have improved, you can include a piece of writing that you think is bad. In fact, I encourage that. That's a good way to show growth. If you want to show me how you learn to revise based on peer feedback or instructor feedback, you could include a rough draft that is bad And also the final draft, that is better, and that's good evidence. You will not be graded for the quality of the work in your portfolio, only for the 800 to 1,000 word essay, which is the new writing we're doing here. Okay, this is graded holistically. This is a universal. This is a universal rubric that all 122 classes to grade this assignment. We'll look at what the A range does, what the ideal paper does, and you're actually going to use this rubric to grade some other sample readings, so you'll be quite familiar with it. But what we can see is there's nothing new here. We want specifics. We want specifics. Student is specific about what they did to meet these goals and integrates their own writing effectively as evidence. In other words, we want good argumentation here. We want a specific claim about your learning. We want evidence that supports that claim, and we want, clear, compelling warrant, explanation about how that evidence does in fact support that claim. You can see where the student has not met fully a goal of the course, their discussion of their own growth is thoughtful and complex, showing strong self-awareness, strong reflective abilities, and it sets a clear goal for future improvement. If you didn't meet one of these outcomes, if you weren't able to, if you think you didn't meet, there was a shortcoming, for the love of God, by all means, please address it. This is the place for honest reflection, but address it. We want to know that we don't know something, and just as if somebody asks you what your biggest weakness is in a job interview, you always want to be able to say, yes, this is a weakness. Here's what I'm doing to improve it, right? So be aware of where you've fallen short, and be explicit about how you will improve it in the future. When I'm grading these, when I check the claims that you made against your own writing in the portfolio, when I check the claims in the essay against the evidence in the body of the portfolio, they should support that claim, right? We don't want to misrepresent our own writing here. As all writing should be, right? We never want the reader to feel lost. We want it to be well organized, well written. Of course, we're not going to be, as I've been throughout the term, grammar isn't the most important thing here. You can still have a few errors, a few unconventional uses of English and do well in this assignment, as long as they don't interfere with my understanding of the writer's ideas. What we can do is make sure we have a clear, well-organized, thoroughly argued, reflective essay which makes claims about our own learning, and that we have thorough, clearly organized, clearly allocated portfolio that includes all of the evidence that the reader will need to verify those claims about our own learning. Okay, if you have any questions, of course, I suggest taking advantage of our Ask Questions Here discussion board, and looking forward to reading, as always.